What's going on, young One Piece world? It's your boy Soge Kami, and I'm here talking about One Piece chapter 1108. This chapter is called Attention World. This chapter just dropped, and it was pretty decent. I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was, to me, a little bit of a setup chapter, and I'm just going to talk about my thoughts and overall perspectives on the chapter. So roll with me, sit back, relax, and let's just talk about where we are. So, firstly, let's start at the top of the chapter, even though I'm going to go into some other parts. But let's start at the top of the chapter with we're starting off from where 1107 ended, with the Blackbeard pirates acknowledging Caribou. It seems that Van Augur knew a little bit about Caribou from beforehand. He calls him by epithet, which is wet-haired. So it's like wet-haired Caribou. That talks about his devil fruit powers, like him turning into like this slime or mud or whatever it is. Keep making his hair look all wet all the time. That's how he gets epithet. And Caribou tells him he has some privileged information, and then they go into like a little speech box telling us about what the information he knows is, and he said he has to tell it to Blackbeard. And so they have a reason to want to take Caribou with them, and they know that they're more powerful than him, so if he turns on them, they can just take him out. So Caribou going to Blackbeard. I can see Caribou making it to Blackbeard say thanks for the information, and then getting rid of him. Or hopefully Caribou stays around. Who knows what they'll do with him, but yeah, that was an interesting part of the chapter. They just kind of wrap it up there. I felt like a lot of this stuff was kind of like page filler, but I guess it is information that we needed to know. There isn't much to say. They don't really tell us if they are taking him or not, but it is assumed that, like, I would just assume that they would take him. They could just X him off right there, but Caribou just has too much information for that to go nowhere, and that realistically would be information that Blackbeard could want to know, unless he already knows it somehow, and then next it goes into a part with all the vice admirals, and we get a lot of their names. Like, we already knew Bluegrass, but there's Hound, there's Tosa, and there's Doberman, who we knew, and all these vice admirals, they're all being introduced. So hopefully at one point, they're gonna get into some action or something like that, right? They realize that the Pacifista are all being controlled by Bonnie, and they don't want to take out the Pacifista because a lot of the goals for coming to Egghead were to like reclaim their weapons and leave with them. So they say, all right, we got to take out Bonnie. Tosa is on the move. Tosa is like a bigger guy, and he also says he has like a finger gun. I don't know if that's different from finger pistol or like the CP9 move, right? But he says he does it with 10 fingers, and he's gonna use that on Bonnie. See it covered in hockey too. That's like crazy. He goes about to go slam down on Bonnie with that, but they are apprehended by our favorite giants, Dory and Broggy. So they take him out with one attack. They basically page one him, but like Big Mom did to page one. They dunned him off, and they move on to say like, oh, Frankie is like introduced to these characters the first time. They realize, okay, the Straw Hats are here. Bonnie says Luffy's over there, and they go off. And Dory and Broggy say, "You guys take these people to our ship," and they go off to go help Luffy. So that Dory and Broggy are on their way to Luffy's location, and they do mention like, oh, like Vegapunk. That's like the name mentioned by the scholar. So that does make me start to think about which scholar they could be talking about. I would assume they're talking about Saul. Saul maybe took on a role in like, okay, I'm going to live on for the people of Ohara and become a scholar like them as he's ex-Marine. It could imply that there is a scholar who survived. I wouldn't go that deep just yet since we haven't gotten information, and we saw a snippet of the scholar wrapped in bandages when they're talking about somebody who survived. So it's like 99% Saul, but Oda could flip it, and there could be Saul and another survivor of Ohara, and that could be anybody from I don't remember his name, or it could be Robin's mom, Olivia. So it could be one of those two who could have survived, but I really, really doubt it. Like a 0.5 chance for each of them, So they go on their way that way. And from the last chapter, I was really looking forward to seeing Sanji, Luffy team up against Kizaru and Saturn. but it seems like that's not going to be happening. Right off the bat, Sanji goes into protective mode. He's going to protect Vegapunk. Kizaru duns him with a kick real quick, and then he finishes Vegapunk with a light beam through the same hole that he got stabbed in, and there's blood spurting out. Some people are coping a little bit, hoping that somehow Kizaru healed the blast through his entire stomach. My thoughts are he still has a hole in his stomach, so even if he did like cauterize that wound, it's still a hole through your stomach. So like I can't imagine you're living very long after that. But Sanji is holding Vegapunk. Sanji even mentions like, oh, like why are you smiling for? Vegapunk isn't saying anything, and we do see on like one of the boxes at the bottom, like it is like his life meter, and it does like flatline. So I would assume that Vegapunk is dead, and that's the trigger for his message going out. And you know, they like the message that goes out, basically, I don't know where it's broadcasted to, but the message that goes out is like almost like a dying message. This ties into what Shaka was saying at the beginning of the arc when he was talking to Dragon, and he says, Dragon, I don't think I have very long to live. And so maybe him and Dragon had some sort of conversation at this point about what's going to happen next if he dies, him releasing this information to the world, and what information it would be. Now, I skipped the part with Luffy. I want to bring that back up, because a lot of people talk about Luffy and, you know, just like how Gear 5th has affected the narrative and what like the tone of the whole situation, and just Luffy in this chapter was frightening. So after Kizaru has stabbed Vegapunk, Luffy grabs both Kizaru and he grabs Saturn, and he says like, oh, you two are not leaving this island. Like, and the way that he said that and the smile on his face when he said that was frightening. Luffy was looking like a beast in this chapter. It was crazy. So right now, we're going to be set up for this 2v1 situation, and we do know that backup's on the way. It'll be amazing to see three giants, like Giant Luffy, freaking Dory and Broggy, all against, you know, an Admiral and Kizaru and Saturn at the same time. That I feel like in this chapter, we've really upped the prestige of the giants. Dorian Broggy one hitting a vice admiral who was using hockey. He was like, I guess didn't expect it to, but at the same time, that's just like a crazy feat. They just one hit him like Shank style. Dorian Broggy are just getting, it wasn't even both of them, right? It was just, I think it was just Broggy, it was the axe. So I'm pretty sure that these characters are just looking extra fire right now. These are characters who were defeated by Mr. 3 in the past, you know, with bombs or whatever in the stomach, but that's fine. Yeah, so they were just looking extra fire in this chapter. We do get another Saul reference as we see Dahl, like Vice Admiral Bluegrass and Vice Admiral Dahl. They're both being like, Bluegrass comes up with a plan to controlling the sea beasts, and then they ride it to the back to try to apprehend Bonnie. So that is going to be another situation they're going to have to overcome. I wonder if, like, I really want to see, since Saul was Dahl's former captain, I really would love to see some type of interaction with Robin and Dahl in this situation, just because like they both have that connection in Saul, and just curious as to like what Dahl's last words to Saul could have been before he left to go save O'Hara, or if maybe Dahl, because like we do know that Olivia was she was captured, so maybe she knows something about O'Hara as well, right? So she could have had some type of connection to Robin. So I would love to see just that interaction. When it comes to Vegapunk being injured, I don't know what comes next for him, if he's truly done or if there is something else going to be going on. Like maybe Chopper can take a look at him. Maybe there's, because like they do talk about the fake organs, right? Like there are like replicated organs on the island. So there is stuff that can be done to heal Vegapunk if he's not 100% dead yet. And there are geniuses on this island. So like maybe the death triggers the announcement, but Vegapunk isn't out of options yet. Realistically, he still has more left in the tank. They can do something, put in some fake organs, do whatever, like recreate it and save him. I am curious as to what the announcement could be about specifically. I feel like it's about the truth of the world, the Void Century, what the government is hiding. That would be the most understandable, considering that's what Vegapunk was doing his research on, and that's what is getting him killed for today. And I am curious as to when he recorded the message. This could have been something recorded the day that he found out that he was going to be killed. And I do question, or sorry, it could have also been recorded, during that in-between time, from the night before. But I do question how Shaka knew he was going to die. Because he basically, maybe it had something to do with CP9 or CP0 coming to the island if he realized beforehand that they're on their way, and then that's when he says, I think I'm going to die. Or if it was just something about, like, I think the information that we've been looking up is the information that'll get us killed. Or something about the Straw Hats showing up, like, this is bad news. Other people are about to show up. I don't know how. I just have this gut feeling. Could just be a gut feeling. But maybe, or it could be potentially the fact that they had put all the memory, like the uploaded the information into Punk Records, and then when he saw that Vegapunk had recorded the video, it could have been like, okay, I think we're gonna die, because Vegapunk is making plans for if anything should happen to me. And it seemed like, based on what he's about to say about the truth of the world, it seems that Vegapunk had a feeling that the information he was looking up, he knew could get him killed. So Vegapunk had that contingency at play. Now, the last thing I want to say about this chapter is just like, where do we go next from here? I feel like in the next chapter, we're going to get maybe the name of the ancient kingdom, because we know that in the past, the scholars were talking about what the name could be, and we didn't get that answer from them. So that could be part of what we learn. We could learn stuff about devil fruits, because Vegapunk had a vast knowledge about devil fruits. So it's really up in the air, but I feel like the next chapter has to tell us that information, since it's ongoing right now. And in the next chapter, or in the next 2 chapters at least, we have to get back to the Zoro fight, and we have to end it soon. It's just at this point, it's not really interesting. It's not really interesting enough to be holding us off. Like, we're not getting enough information from this fight. Zoro's not hurt, Lucci's not hurt. They're both just stalling each other. We really need something to go on and just finish this, so move on to these characters. They're just holding each other here. Sanji in this fight, he really, I was really looking forward to him fighting Kizaru, I'm not gonna lie. And for somebody who speed blitzed the laser, to get blitzed again by Kizaru in that moment was just surprising. It was almost like he moved extra fast for Bonnie, but he didn't move fast enough for Vegapunk, which is crazy. But Sanji, on his watch, twice Vegapunk got done up. So now that Kizaru has, ended Vegapunk, I'm hoping that Sanji decides, Sanji could decide that he's still going to try to save Vegapunk and take him to Chopper anyway, or he could just be mad and be like, yo, Kizaru, I promised Bonnie I'd protect him, and he died on my watch. I'm going to get you, that's something I'd also love to see. At least go save Vegapunk and then come back, something like that. The other thing that's an issue for Sanji taking him to Chopper is in the dome, and I'm pretty sure the dome is still at 100%. So I am curious. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. I don't remember the dome coming down, but I am curious if Sanji will have a way to get back up there. I just don't think So, and like there's a time crunch. So I would love for it to be one of those two things. The Kizaru fight, I feel like could happen at a later date. I really feel like it doesn't have to happen right now. I feel like this is good setup because now Sanji has a reason to be like, hey, you know, I made a promise to somebody to protect them, and I couldn't do that in this moment. And now at a later date, he could go and get his revenge for Vegapunk because he was supposed to be the one who protected him, and he failed that duty. And that's just real rap. That's not even saying anything to, you know, Kizaru is like a strong person to protect somebody from. He can literally teleport and move at the speed of light. So I'm not trying to like slam Sanji for not being able to do it. I'm just trying to say that that is his reasoning for being able to go up against Vegapunk or go up against Kizaru and say, hey, you know, I failed at this duty. I'm going to come back and I'm going to get you for this. And like I've been saying, I just feel like Kizaru versus Sanji is such a good matchup in the terms that Sanji is trying not to be an unfeeling robot and Kizaru is trying to be an unfeeling robot. He is actively hiding his feelings. You know, he's going against his own better judgment, and Sanji's trying to go with his better judgment, as seen in his fight versus Queen. So overall, I thought this chapter was good setup. It ended with something that like satiated my hunger for more. I just can't wait till next week. I'm so glad we have no break week. I want to figure out what's going on with, you know, this information. Wonder what the name of the ancient kingdom is. I cannot even begin to think. I would think it had something to do with dreams or pirates, something like that, something that is like right in our face. It's gonna be something that's right in our face, and we're gonna be like duh, of course that's the name of the ancient kingdom right when we see it. And yeah, let me know what you guys thought about this chapter. I was super excited to get it, and I'll be back same time, same place next week. So you know, like and subscribe. Let me know you're alive in the comments down below. And hope you guys have a nice week. See ya later.